Sorry, folks, but this episode of Sonic Talk was supposed to have a interview with Tracy Yardley. We did that last Thursday, but sadly, for some reason, the audio that came back put me as like 3 seconds ahead of everyone, so I was constantly talking over everyone as it was. Plus, Yardley's audio on his end came out very hard to hear until near the end of the interview. So we talked to him, and we're going to redo the interview for episode 21, but for now it's just me and Alex doing a talk before the Lost World trailer came out today. So, enjoy! Hello and welcome to the 20th episode of Sonic Talk. We've actually made it to 20 episodes and we've got a special treat for that tonight.
Yeah.
Alex has managed to wrangle up Sonic artist Tracy Yardley for an interview later on in the show. And thanks for that. I mean, we just had Ian Flynn last episode, and now we got Tracy Yardley, and he'll be answering some of the fan questions that were offered at the Bumble King Forum, as well as some of our own. Up first, I guess it's what we've been playing.
Well,
you go ahead and start, Alex.
Okay, well, guess what I got in the mail today, Jason?
What?
I got I got two Game.coms, or Gamecoms, I guess they call them. The shittiest gaming systems ever made, and I just got two of them.
Why on earth did you have two of them?
Well, I wanted to get a Gamecom Pocket Pro, which has a shitty backlight, so that I could see the screen a bit better. And it came with another Gamecom with a nice box and everything. And so I just picked that up because most of the Gamecoms on eBay right now are about $100, and they're still in the packaging. And I don't want to spend $100 on this piece of shit. So I spent $60 on two.
You could sell the one and actually make your money back, probably.
Yeah, it has a very nice box, so I can display it, I guess. Anyway, I bought it so that I could experience the worst Sonic game ever made.
That's on the Game Boy Advance.
No. What Sonic game is on the Game Boy Advance that you would say?
The Sonic 1 conversion, the 15th anniversary edition.
Dude, you have not seen anything yet until you have seen Sonic Jam on the Game.com. This makes most fan games look professional. The game's music literally consists of a single electronic instrument beeping in different tones. The gameplay literally moves in single frames. The graphical design, the level design literally consists of hills and occasional slopes. And when you try to roll down the slopes, you roll down them a little bit faster than when you walk up them. Which you can barely walk up these goddamn slopes. I mean, these are some of the worst these are some of the worst Sonic physics I've ever had to deal with. And then they keep throwing things in your way that just stops you dead in your tracks for no reason. Like, they just dropped item boxes on the ground randomly. I mean, you can tell that this game was probably made by one dude in 1 week, so that they could have a Sonic game on the Gamecom for a launch title or something. This is the pinnacle of shit. And nothing in the Gamecom library seems to be much better than it either. Because I have played Duke Nukem 3D, Fires Megamix, and with this new with the new Gamecom stuff I got, I also got Batman and Robin and Indy 500 and Quiz Wiz Cyber Trivia. Yes, yes. These are the AAA games of the Gamecom lineup. It is a piece of shit, but I'm suffering through it so that I can write about it. Because that is what people like me do. Suffer for everybody else.
I'm watching video of it on YouTube. Looks pretty awful.
Oh, God. And imagine that on a shitty, worse than the Game Boy shitty screen. I mean, like, it's this ugly gray piece of shit. You can barely see it. And the Gamecom's backlight, it is the worst backlight you will ever see on any handheld. I mean, for one, it's a front light. For two, like, the lights shimmer, and they can't even keep a steady lighting going. I mean, I never thought I'd actually be able to appreciate the fact that most backlight screens don't flicker, but this one fucking flickers. It's like it comes down in beams. It's not like one single backlit screen. They come down in fucking beams, man. You can see the beams.
The camera is so zoomed in on your character, you can't see where you're going at all.
Yes, I keep falling in fucking holes. I've only been able to beat one level in this goddamn game, and it was for Sonic 2. For Sonic 3, you run to the end of the level until you get to that tree spinning thing. You know, from Angel Hill Zone. Remember that? Remember how it always works in the Genesis? Well, it never works on the game.com. You run to the tree. The tree does that thing where it disappears, but you're just running against the wall and you're stuck there. And I've not yet figured out how to get out of that. And then in Sonic and Knuckles, you just run until you fall into a hole and die, over and over again, because you can't see the fucking hole until you're falling into the fucking hole. I mean, everyone who bitches about Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but you really gotta try this before you start talking about Sonic shit. And honestly, I think that Tiger Electronics, remember, they're the guys who used to make those LEDs. I think that they just had all these licenses from their LED games, and they just make shitty quick games out of it in an attempt to make people buy the game.com. It's like the greatest scam in all of history. Look, we've got Resident Evil. We've got Sonic. We've got 16-bit graphics. I mean, we won't tell you that they run at 3 frames per second, but we got them. And we also got Symphony of the Night and Metal Gear coming up. Isn't that awesome, guys? Yeah, buy our shitty system. Okay, so what have you been playing?
Well, both of us have been playing Resident Evil Revelations on a Wii U, and that's a great port.
Yeah.
High definition, looks fantastic, controls well. It's a lot better than playing Resident Evil 6, I'll tell you that. It really feels like classic Resident Evil, only you can actually move and reload and shoot your gun at the same time.
I wouldn't know. I've only played shit when Sega's involved.
And I've been hooking up all my classic systems. I bought a Sega Master System over the weekend, if you saw the video on Segabits. It was Space Harrier, Outrun, Lord of the Swords so far. I ordered Sonic 2 the other day, so that should be coming in a few weeks.
And that is a lot easier than the Game Gear version, but at least the first boss. I mean, remember how hard the first boss is in the Game Gear version?
No, I have. It's been a long time since I played the Game Gear version.
Oh, well, it's pretty much known as one of the most difficult bosses in Sonic history. And on Master System, it's easy as shit. It is easy. So, I don't know, maybe it's just the graphical limitations of the Master System. The things can't bounce as high or something when they hit you. I don't know. That's easy.
Yeah, that's true. The one big thing I kind of wanted to talk about, we had the Xbox One announcement yesterday. Or no, 2 days ago.
Yes. We're both irritated by this,
Almost a
but
week
you're
by the
much
time
more.
you people are listening to this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Just rant.
It's
I had my game
it's
time.
not only the fact that they're not even concentrating on games and making it more of an all-in-one entertainment thing, but the fact is the whole. It's not even the whole thing that you can't play used games. If this was a machine where all I could do was download the titles and they stayed on my hard drive, even I wouldn't be that upset, because at least like 10 to 20 years from now, when it's a classic system, I still have all these games on the hard drive to play. But no, you have to always have to have internet connection. You have to activate it every time you either install it or play it, and that means this system will not be considered like a classic system. Like when if you buy an old Genesis or an old NES, you could still just plug in games and play them on them. With PS3, even if it's 20, 30 years, if it's still working, you'll be able to just plug in a disc and go to play a game. This thing, nope, it has to require you to go online and freaking, have approval to play the game, which is absolutely
And for
idiocy.
me, that's a huge problem because I have spotty internet in both of the places I live. I mean, at my house, I have this my Comcast can be really unreliable. My router just shuts off randomly. I don't know why, and it's a new one too. I just replaced the damn thing, and it's still doing that. And when that happens, I don't care too much unless it was today, which it happened today, by the way. But unless I have a big Sonic Talk thing coming up, I don't care that much because I can play all my systems and do everything I need to do offline and through my 3G on my devices. But if this happens and my Xbox won't start a fucking game, I'm gonna be pissed, man. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be kicking that thing until it breaks. Well, no, because that'd be stupid. But I mean, I'll just play my Wii U instead, and not buy any more games for it.
Really. And then another thing is,
Yeah,
my brother can't even use this system. He doesn't have internet at his house. He does most of his web surfing and Facebooking on his phone, and then when he's at work, he works at a comic book store where he's got Netflix he can watch whenever he wants and stuff. So he doesn't really need internet at home that much. So
yeah.
he can't even play a game on that system.
And then there's at my parents' house. My parents have really shitty internet, like that often grinds to a crawl because they live out in the boonies, and so it's going to be a real pain whenever I go over there and I bring my Xbox One, if I do get an Xbox One, which I guess I'll have to when Halo comes out, but until then.
You don't have to. You can just watch the TV show. That was the most exciting thing in the presentation.
Oh God, I was jumping up and dancing when they announced that. I was giddy as a manly
What
schoolboy.
is
I was
the name
giddy.
is just going to confuse the market. Xbox One. It's not like they didn't have two Xboxes before it.
Yeah. So what do we call the original Xbox
The original
now? Do we
Xbox.
call?
That's it.
I guess.
I mean, I used to
But
call it Xbox One, the old Xbox. It's just what I called it.
I think really probably the biggest disaster about that announcement was just how Microsoft handled it. I mean, they are being incredibly cagey about things that even Nintendo doesn't have to be cagey about. I mean, Nintendo can be cagey about some shit, like how their online services worked on the Wii U and stuff. But they at least don't say, well, we have a way that used games will work, but we can't tell you
Yeah,
yet. Which scares the hell out of me. What do you mean you can't tell me yet? You mean won't just play used games? What's going on
I know.
here?
And they think that the used games market is hurting them, like it's piracy or something. Where the problem is, I trade in a lot of games when I buy new games. That helps offset the cost of the game for me. If I play like a Ninja Gaiden 3 on the Wii U and I finish it, I'm not going to probably play it again for years. So why wouldn't I just trade it in towards a new game like Resident Evil?
And I only buy used games
Because
when.
I'm not the one who's giving the money to the game manufacturers like GameStop is buying the game new. then reselling it to me, and then I'm buying it from them.
And I only buy used games when I really wouldn't buy them any other way. Like, I bought Grand Theft Auto 4 used because I'm not a huge Grand Theft Auto fan, but I get some enjoyment out of it, so I'll pay 20, $30 used.
Yeah, if
But
I
you
buy
know,
one used, it's usually fairly old, at least 6 months to a
I
year.
was never going to buy it new. I was never going to buy it at $50. So unless they were going to sell it to me new at that price, I wasn't buying it anyway. And I don't really use game trading very often, but when I do, it's very handy. It helps me justify the costs of certain games. Like when I went out and bought Sonic Unleashed, I decided, well, you know what? I'm really not sure about this because, well, Sonic 06 was shit. So, you know, I'll just trade in some of my old shitty Sonic games and we'll see how it goes. Then I bought Sonic 06 digitally, and now I'm stuck with it for the rest of my
Yeah, and
life.
right now I got Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Generations on PS3, but with my new capture card, it doesn't work on HDMI on PS3. It only works in composite. It doesn't look as good, so I'm thinking of switching those ones to the 360 version because that does HDMI. I have no problem. Then I got a sharper picture. But see, at least I have the
And
option to trade them in and for this, even the same game.
yeah, the one cool thing about everything Microsoft's doing is that you don't need a disc to play the game, but that's a hell of a
Yeah.
trade-off for that convenience.
I mean, if you can't rent games anymore, and you can't really loan them to the friend unless you loan them your account, which will probably have your freaking
Yeah, that's gonna be a real pain because I trade games with my brother all the
yeah.
time. You know, games that he would may not have played otherwise, I gave to him, and vice versa.
That's true, and you have to give them your account, and if it's somebody you don't know that well, they got your credit card number probably.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing just reeks of being anti-consumer, and it just
It reeks of being incredibly stupid and putting more barriers where you really don't need any more barriers. I mean, I am becoming a Sony person over this. I mean, this is going to be the first generation where my main consoles are not Sega or Microsoft, but Nintendo and Sony. I mean, man, because Microsoft has earned a lot of brand loyalty from me over the years, especially thanks to the Halo franchise. But they are really doing their best to piss that all away.
yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, yeah.
been
Let's stop attacking it.
really long tangent. Though in other news and games we've been playing, we just got off of a game with Chatty Wolf, the notorious Nintendo hater of Segabits, who does those awesome web designs. He's a really awesome guy. Off of his new Wii U,
Which is ironic because he's such a Nintendo hater, especially the Wii.
Yeah, he's actually really liking the Wii U from what he's telling me. Of course, we'll see where he stands when this thing actually goes up on Monday. Or hopefully it's Monday. Okay, so have you written up some show notes, my main man?
Well, we're just going to mention a few things because we don't want it to run too long. We got the Tracy Yardley interview, which runs about an hour and a half. Yeah.
We're pretty to talk about Lost World.
Yeah, definitely. That's the first thing up is Sonic Lost World, and we should mention the whole Wii U exclusivity that Nintendo has with Sega now.
3 Sonic titles. Mario and Sonic, which no one cares about, Lost World, which everybody should care about, and the mysterious third Sonic game, which will probably turn out to be a hugely disappointing thing, but I hope it's going to be awesome. So maybe a Mario and Sonic crossover adventure
The whole thing
game.
with the Guardians, the silhouettes and that, and the whole the world that's breaking apart, it reminds me a little bit of Sonic Unleashed in that way.
Sort of. I mean, the world breaking apart,
coming together, I guess, in this one.
More like Little
Because
Planet
it's in like
me.
puzzle pieces, sort of.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of a Little Planet. You know, this planet just sort of hovering in the sky.
Kind of like that, yeah. It is a little smaller. What is Sega's obsession with small planets? Very small planets. I mean, Sonic Colors was a group of small planets that was made into an intergalactic amusement park.
Planetoids.
Yeah, planetoids. And then you got Little Planet, Planetoids, and now another little planet.
Oh, no. Well, okay. I call them all little planetoids. But yeah. So we got the Lost World, we've got Little Planet, we've got the Sonic Colors theme park, which had like 6 of them, I think, or 7.
Yeah. And so I guess on May 29th, they're going to announce the full thing, and then we'll be seeing probably some video and clips and images
Please
from there.
show
So
me
I'll be. So I'm on pins and needles. I can't wait for that.
Yes, and please show me playable Knuckles. I mean, I don't care about Sonic and Tails. Give me Knuckles.
Really. Speaking of playable Knuckles, we got the Taxman conversion of Sonic 1 on the iOS now. And boy, does that got a lot in it. I mean, if you can, once you unlock it, you got Sonic, you got Tails, you got Knuckles, all playable in Sonic 1. You can have Tails follow Sonic, and or
Sega, put this on some game.
There's a
Put this on some goddamn game
consoles.
Yeah,
they just went overboard with that. You got a level select. You can put the Sonic 3 shields on the Sonic.
Yeah.
And of course, it's also got spin dash and widescreen support, and it looks fantastic.
I mean, yeah, this was a fan effort made by a fan for fans. It's just a huge wish list of things. I mean, the only thing they're really missing is the chaos. But that would have been really overboard. So, yeah.
Yeah, there are 16-bit versions of those guys. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it is really, really cool. Really cool. But I don't like playing it on my iPad at all. I mean, I tried it. I tried fiddling with the buttons and the joysticks, but it just becomes a pain after a while. I want a goddamn controller to hold for it.
It doesn't bother me too much because my iPad Mini, it's my hands are nice and wide, so when I touch the sides of the screen.
Well, mine are too, but you've got a smaller device to work with. It's the perfect size for this sort of thing. But I just can't stand rubbing my fingers up against a smooth surface, moving things around, and it just doesn't work for me. Goddamn, I want buttons. Give me buttons. That's why they need to put this on some other game consoles.
Yeah, even like the little stuff like the time attack and the title screen where you could switch the box art from Japanese, USA, and Europe. That's just awesome.
That's awesome. And what's really awesome is that, like, I already bought Sonic when I first got an iPod Touch years ago.
Yeah,
just,
me too. And so this was free for us.
Updated.
Yeah, they updated by replacing the game entirely and giving you a brand new one, basically.
Sega can be so awesome like that. They could have just released this as an all new game, Sonic 1 HD. And you know what? Most fans probably would have been okay with that, but no, they just updated the old game with all this awesome new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So now they just need to bring it to the Vita or the Wii U, or hell, fuck the 3D version of Sonic 1 and put this version on there.
Yeah, I'm not really looking that forward to the 3D version of Sonic 1 now. I don't really care.
Well, I heard that the 3D effect just wasn't very good.
I would buy I want to get the Space Harrier and the Super Hang-On out of those 3.
Yeah, I want those too. I pretty much want all of the arcade titles except for
nobody cares about Altered Beast.
It's weird. I mean, Altered Beast, that one Genesis game that everyone knows and everyone's heard about, but no one likes because it wasn't any good.
Yeah, I know. It was also the game that came with the console when you first had a Genesis way back in the day.
Yeah, that was because Altered Beast was popular back then, I guess. But man, by the time I first played it back in 2001, that game
cost you 50 cents when it first came out to play it, and that's like $1 to $2 in today's money.
Yeah, I know, man. That was expensive for an arcade game back then.
I know, really. What was I gonna say here? All right, speaking of other Sonic exclusives with that whole Sega Nintendo deal.
Sonic.
Yeah, we got Mario and Sonic at the Sochi Winter Olympics.
Olympics. Yeah, Sochi is a country and is a city in Russia, as I recall. It was on the well, actually, they explained this all in the
Yeah, it's
Nintendo
basically
Direct
a
thing. So
province of Russia where it's actually nice and warm instead of cold, bitter looking.
yeah, yeah.
Because so much of everything you ever see in Russia, it's always dark and cold and snowing. And this place looks
Yeah.
really sunny and nice.
This is the first time that they've had a Sonic Olympics game that isn't taking place in like a major city that we've all heard of, like Beijing or London. Like Sochi. I've heard people call it Soichi and sushi and
It sounds like it doesn't sound Russian though. It sounds like Japanese or something.
eh,
It's kind of crazy.
I don't know. Sounds Eastern European to me, though I think technically it's in Asia.
Okay, yeah. So that's an HD and it looks fantastic from what I've seen of the
Yeah, it
video and
does look good.
screenshots. But it's
Yeah.
gonna be more of the same. If you like those kind of mini games, I always buy them and then play them for like a month and then I'm done with them and I never touch them again.
Yeah. I don't think I've actually bought a Sonic in the Olympics game since the first
Well, I
one.
didn't buy the Winter Olympics. I just rented it, but I bought the first two.
Hmm. And then everyone is complaining about the frame rate because apparently some people see a terrible frame rate in these
It's too
videos.
early to
Keep
tell.
in mind that it is in pre-alpha, and I have seen some terrible frame rates in my day when it comes to pre-alpha games at E3. I mean, All Stars Racing on the 360 and
Yes, it
PS3
looks.
had terrible frame rate in April.
Yeah, well, last year when we went to see it in San Francisco, it had a very very choppy frame rate.
78, wait, no, San
It
Francisco,
had
yeah.
like a
Yeah.
3D. If you played the 3DS version, it had that kind of frame rate.
I don't even think it was that good.
And
But it's the nature of early
the rumor
games.
is on the third Sonic title might be just like Sonic cameo doing a cameo in Mario Kart.
Well, there's also that the TSSZ rumor, which says it's like going to be Sonic Riders thing. I don't think a Mario Kart game really counts as a Sonic title in any case because it's a Mario game.
Yeah, I don't think it would count as a Sonic title.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking that if that Soul thing bears any kind of bears anything towards this, it may be maybe Sonic is going to be crossing over with Mario Kart, and it's going to be a Sonic and Mario racing game.
Maybe.
But honestly, when I read that, I thought maybe he was just hinting at Mario DLC for All Stars Racing, which we have yet to hear anything about, but we know that DLC is happening. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
Yakuza 1 and 2 are, I guess, coming to the Japanese Wii U now as HD remakes. So,
yeah. Hopefully those come over
yeah, I
here.
hope so, but it's doubtful, really. The one thing with this whole thing is Nintendo exclusive. It makes good business sense for Nintendo, and I'm wondering if it's good business sense for Sega, really.
It is definitely good business sense for Sega. I mean, I was looking at the sales for Sonic Colors and Generations and Unleashed, and pretty much every Sonic game that has sold the best was on Nintendo consoles. I mean, Sonic Generations, which was on four platforms, the PS3, 360, um, the PC, and 3DS, was outsold by Sonic Colors, which was on the Wii and the DS. I mean, cheaper development on less advanced platforms, and because it was just on Nintendo platforms, and it sold a lot better. So I think this is a great business move because Sega is minimizing their costs by developing for only two consoles, and they are also getting a nice publishing deal from Nintendo. Nintendo's publishing it in Europe.
Yeah, and that's nice because that takes a lot of heat off of them. So
Yeah,
anything that if it flops, they're still making cash on it because it's Nintendo that's taking the heat on that.
it's not going to
No,
flop. I
it's Sonic.
mean, worst case
But the
scenario,
one thing that concerns
worst
me
case
is,
scenario is
yeah,
just
Sonic games do better on Nintendo systems, but the Wii U right now has a very small install base compared to what the Wii had, even a year or two out.
yeah, but the Wii U is going to have a much bigger install base by the time the big Mario games hit. And it's those people who buy the system, who buy the Wii's for Mario, who buy Nintendo consoles for Mario games, who are going to be buying these Sonic games as well.
Yeah, I mean the Nintendo Wii U's lineup is for E3 is starting to look like it's going to be really good.
I mean, one thing to keep in mind when it comes to Sonic games is that Sonic games have always been fairly slow burners. They sell well over the long term, but they typically seem to only do that in Nintendo consoles. And the only games that have really been able to break that trend were Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog, which both also did well in the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, for some stupid reason.
Kind of surprising because Sonic Heroes was terrible in the PS2 compared to the GameCube.
Shadow
and
too.
Xbox.
They both had lower frame rates.
Yeah.
Lower resolutions.
Of course, I think that's pretty much because Sonic Team hated the PS2 or something. That's all I can really think of. Because they just
PS2 is graphically inferior to the
GameCube
or
the
Xbox
inferior,
back
but
in the
it
day.
could still produce. It could still produce the kinds of graphics.
I think it just didn't have good enough
All right.
programmers and didn't really, make a good enough port that they could have.
Yeah, maybe. This is just what I was thinking in 2004, 2005.
Or maybe you're right, and they just didn't care. One thing that's ticking me off as far as if we go back to what we've been playing is that they put out Ratchet & Clank Deadlocked HD, and you get that free if you bought Ratchet & Clank Full Frontal Assault on PS3 or on Vita, and whatever you do get it on PS3, because the Vita version and the version of Deadlock were done by a company called Idle Minds, and they did a horrible port on both.
Oh Lord!
Yeah, Deadlock.
I want that to be my goddamn Vita, man.
Yeah, because they say the Vita one's okay, but it has a really slow frame rate compared to the PS3 version. But Deadlock has very bad clipping issues on the cutscenes, where I've seen it for myself, where Ratchet's face it'll melt into the camera, and you can see the inside of his skull and stuff.
I think Sony really needs to give Ratchet a little break because
these
they've
are
been
just
running
old
that
ports.
franchise.
But the problem is that Insomniac didn't work on these ports because they're working on their first-person shooter Fuse.
Yeah, but also, they've been running the Ratchet and Clank franchise ragged in these last few years.
Yeah, I think they need to either give it a break. If they're doing a full one for PS4, then great. I'll be very happy. But if not, just give it a year's rest or something.
Yeah, because they've done All for One, Full Frontal Assault, and Deadlock.
No, Deadlock is not a new game. It is a port of the PS2 game.
Oh. PS2?
Yeah, it's a PS2. It's basically part of the Ratchet and Clank Classic Collection, and only it's a brand new one.
It's a PS2 port, and they screwed it up.
Yeah, they screwed up
on
a
the
PS2
Vita.
port.
Oh, wow. I was going to say, I've never heard of Ratchet and Clank Deadlock.
If you don't mind the cutscenes, the rest of it's okay. It's 60 frames a second, HD, and it's online. Right. It's online. It's like an online shooter.
Oh, okay, so it's not a single player.
It is single player as well. It's got a single player story. A full-blown single-player story where you fight, where Ratchet has to fight in an illegal arena thing. But you could also play online with others in like team combat or deathmatch or that kind of stuff.
I don't care. I don't care about the online stuff. I'm just looking for a good single-player Ratchet and Clank game on my Vita. Am I asking for too much?
No, not really.
So let's see, the 3 games. What about the mystery game? Any thoughts?
Oh, on Sega Master System?
No, the mystery game.
Oh, the third one. I have no idea what that could be. Like I said, it could be the racer thing we're talking about, or it could be another Sonic exclusive like Lost Worlds.
Yeah, I'm thinking it'll be a Sonic game from the Generations team. You know, like how we had a Sonic game in 2010.
Who's doing the Lost Worlds?
I don't know. I would assume the colors team.
As long as they don't do it like Black Knight, because Black Knight was a bomb and that was pretty bad.
Oh, I doubt they'll do it like Black Knight. But yeah, so I'm thinking maybe the colors team is working on this one. Maybe the Generations team is working on the next one. They'll have 2 years of Sonic exclusives. Then after that, we'll have a multi-platform All-Stars racing game, and then a multi-platform Sonic title unless Nintendo and Sega decide to renew their deal. Which I guess we'll see. That would piss off a lot of people.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to comic talk. Because we want to wrap this up within less than an hour. And we haven't really discussed at all Worlds Collide ever since it started with Mega Man issue, what is it, 25? It started? 24.
24.
So
yeah, this is so much better than Genesis.
it is much more entertaining, I'll give you that.
And like because it's 12 issues long, like we're actually getting to see like the characters interact with one another and show some chemistry. It's so nice when we get to see the Sonic comic or the Sonic and Mega Man comic sort of spread out and breathe a little over multiple issues.
That's true. My only criticism is the way it started. They wanted to make sure it started with them fighting, and so the first issue was just mainly them fighting and Dr. Eggman and Wily gloating, and then Sonic Universe, they had to rewind back to what exactly happened.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then by the third issue, it was back to its normal pace.
Let's see.
One thing I liked was how Mega Man actually de-roboticizes Sonic's friends by defeating him and stealing their power, and that instantly de-roboticizes them. Then he gets a version of whatever power they have, like he has Tails, Wind, and I guess they'll get other powers from the other characters he de-roboticizes.
I love how they're crossing things over, like the Genesis team. The Genesis squad was awesome.
Yeah, the Genesis unit.
Genesis unit, yeah, that's the name. I mean, that's just so fitting. And a Sonic and Mega Man crossover to have.
That pissed on the old off panel when Mega Man was telling him Sonic to go fight the Genesis unit, and then he attacks Mega Man. This is for the Saturn. Remember the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
The console wars are over.
Sonic, I knew he couldn't let the whole console wars thing go.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that everybody's like Blaze Woman's Knuckles Man, and then Espio Man, and then we got Vector Man. He's got the exact same name as the actual Vector Man.
Why do you remind me of a trash God damn it, a trash compactor robot. Trash collector, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of little nods here and there. It's a real fun story so far. What's interesting is how they're splitting up the artist duties too, because like Jamal Peppers did the first 4 issues, then it's Tracy Yardley for these next 4 issues, then it's Ben Bates for the last 4 issues.
But aren't there 4? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, it's because it's a 12-part story altogether.
No. Yeah. So who's doing it after Ben Bates? Because there's 4.
No, that's 3. It's a 12-part story.
Well, God
3 times 4 is 12.
Shut up. Yeah, but 3 issues come out a month, and that's what my brain calculated.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about that particular storyline going on so far?
No, it's just a lot of fun.
What's funny though is in this storyline, every single one of Sonic's friends is roboticized, and nobody cares because they know by the end of the story they're all going to be back to normal. But here in the regular story, we've had Sally roboticized for like a year, and it's so tragic. But even then,
and where the heck is Mega Man
to normal
for that,
within a year or two?
What I'm really looking forward to is the aftermath, though, because apparently
Ian said there's going to be some big changes, and I'm wondering if that's not a hint that the series will be softly rebooted in some kind of way.
No.
Hey, DC Universe's 52 was a reboot, but they still kept some continuity from the original DC comics.
I hated 52. It was difficult for me to read a lot of those comics after that. Then there was the Spider-Man soft reboot where they got rid of the Spider-Man Mary Jane marriage. I stopped
Oh,
reading
that was a
that
horrible
after
thing.
that. Grr.
But it's already
Anyway.
saying that like Sonic's dealing with the Tails doll and that. But the thing is, he's in the Antarctic when we last left him. So
Well, he can fly back in the space of the
yeah, but
issue.
at the time he's still in
On
the
the,
Antarctic when the giant Tails doll is attacking.
I know, but
Team
I'm just
Freedom.
saying that they could have him fly back. Just say, oh wow, we have to get back to Nahal. Then they go back to Nahal. Then Tails thingy killing things.
All right, well, I think that's gonna wrap it up right now. Well, anyway, that's gonna be it for us. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully before E3, but definitely
Oh yes,
shortly after.
yes. And of course, we will be going to E3. We will be trying to cover things a little differently this year, but then again, we always try that, and it always comes out kind of half-assedly. But well, you know.
Yeah, a good announcement for me is that even though I didn't qualify for E3 under Sonic
Actually,
Stadium this year,
I think you did because they told me that we have two people going under Sonic Stadium, and as far as I know, we're the only two people who
yeah, but
submit anything. So
I
I
never got an email confirmation on that, so I don't know what happened there. So I got re-registered under Segabits, and I got
said
approved there
this is now big enough
to
to
go
go
to
to
E3.
E3. We are now in the big leagues, bitches. Does that mean I have to stop cursing?
No, you can still curse.
Oh, thank fucking God. Ah,
All right, we'll see you next time.
okay.
Bye
Yeah,
bye.
see you later, guys.